Hey y'all, it's Cher and
Dawn.
And welcome back to the
Chattermouth Podcast.
I am literally so excited for the episode because my best friend is here. I know my two best friends. I'll rephrase that. Let's start that over. My two best friends are in the house.
That's better.
So obviously y'all know my mom, but my other best friend Tanya is here, and I am so excited. Hi. A lot of you may recognize her from our show. She's been on Smother before as Belle's dentist because she's a dentist. She now does aesthetics. She's preggers too, and just been my best friend for such a long time. So,
and I love Tanya too.
Yes, as you all know, she tried very hard to get her to date my brother.
Definitely,
she's married, very happily married. So happy for you. Still wish you were my sister, but we'll pretend.
Yes. Sisters from another mister.
Yes, there you go. Exactly. So first of all, tell everyone a little bit about who you are. I just gave an introduction, but
yeah, so I've known Cher for ever since 9th grade, and we grew up together, went to high school together, and I live in Riverview with my husband, and we are expecting a little baby boy due in October.
It's Belle's future husband.
Yes, Belle's future husband.
He's on his
That's
way.
right, he's on his way. So Belle will be a little bit of a cougar, but that's okay. So yeah, my husband and I are both dentists. We met in dental school and fell in love and got married, and we're just building a life together. We plan to go into business together and own our own family practice.
It's so neat. That's so wonderful. You're going to work in the practice too, and like I worked with my husband.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Your daddy.
Well, you guys have a lot of in common. Not only is she going to have her own practice, but you were a dental hygienist.
I was a dental hygienist.
Yep.
Yes. I clean the teeth and
Can you imagine
hygiene of the teeth? What?
Yeah, I was going to say, can you imagine if Tanya was your boss?
I would love it. I still would be working then. No,
Exactly.
If you were my boss.
Exactly.
So do you, being a dentist and everything, do you, you and I, we talk about, everything. I feel like we never really talk as much about, dentistry and, teeth and things like that, because we're talking about, our husbands or, these friends of ours, things like that. Oh, my mom,
So now that I'm here, you can't talk about
that one. So, since that's off the table right now. No, but back to dentistry and stuff. And how do you keep your teeth really white and also not have that bad breath? I know that's so random, but I was just thinking about that because now that I'm done breastfeeding and all, I want to do something to whiten my smile. And one of the worst things. Well, first, let's answer that question before I continue on.
So with bad breath, 90% of the time when you have bad breath, it's because of bacteria on the tongue, not on the teeth. So a lot of patients do not brush their tongue with either a tongue brush or a tongue scraper. So the tongue, if you were to zoom in microscopically on the tongue, you'll see that there's fissures and grooves and everything that traps bacteria, food, and microorganisms, and that's what causes halitosis or bad breath.
You're not making kissing sound very
very
appetizing anymore.
It's so interesting because back in the day when I was a hygienist, I couldn't get over when I would clean teeth that some of the teeth that I've cleaned, they were so full of plaque and calculus, which is hard plaque.
And plaque, correct. Yeah.
Right. And you could hardly see their teeth. It was so disgusting. And I said, how would anybody want to kiss them?
Yeah.
Full of all that bacteria. And then after I would clean and chip it all away, they said they felt so different. Their mouths felt different.
Right.
But I'm so into looking at people's mouths and teeth. I'm sure you are too, being a dentist. But you think about, kissing someone and everything. You want to have that good hygiene. The hygiene's not just taking a shower. It's also the mouth.
Absolutely. You wouldn't not put on deodorant or, not take a shower. So why would you treat your mouth the same way? And also when you're not brushing your teeth, flossing, or brushing your tongue, you're also transferring that bacteria to your partner. And then, it changes the entire microbiome of their mouth too. So, if for any other reason, not for yourself, you should be scraping your tongue because the person on the other end may not like what they're, receiving.
Gosh, ugh. So what do you do? You scrape your tongue.
So scraping your tongue is very important, especially before bed. You know, after eating everything throughout the day, you know, you want to go to bed with the cleanest, healthiest mouth. So yes, it's important to brush your teeth at the beginning of the day with the morning breath, but it is more important at night because everything you've eaten and drank and all of that, going to bed with that in your mouth, it's a breeding ground for bacteria. Wow. So brushing your teeth, flossing, brushing your tongue, and then even using a mouthwash is always a good idea. I've found personally that brushing at night and taking care of your teeth at night will actually prevent halitosis or bad breath more than actually brushing the morning breath away. So a lot of people, they tend to brush in the morning, but they fall asleep on the couch at night, they get tired, and they don't brush at night. And that, I think, in my professional opinion, contributes worse to the bad breath because you're taking everything you ate with you to bed and you're closing your mouth. And in some cases, you sleep with your mouth open if you're a mouth breather. And that is just a breeding ground for bacteria. It's a warm, wet, moist environment. And
oh my God,
not good.
And also, it also can cause cavities.
Absolutely, I didn't even talk about that.
Everything in your mouth that you're keeping and you're not brushing at night. You know who doesn't brush their teeth when they go to bed at night? And I go crazy.
Who?
Daddy.
But he eats the worst stuff too. My dad literally eats gumballs all day long. Like those gumballs that you get from like a vendor, like those machines.
Well, that's bad for your jaw too.
He loves those potato chips and soda.
But you know what's so interesting?
No, the worst.
He brushes every morning, but he doesn't brush at night.
Ugh, meanwhile, you're calling him out so bad.
He doesn't have any problems with his teeth. Well, I brush morning and night, and even in the afternoons a lot of times.
And it's so dependent on the person. So, for example, my brother and I, same parents, same set of genetics. My brother, you know, does not take meticulous care of his teeth the way I do, and I see him maybe once every 6 or 7 years for a dental checkup, and he doesn't have cavities. Whereas if I look at sweet tea, I will get a cavity.
Do you think it's just because you notice everything on your tooth? Like you notice your teeth so much when you're a dentist. So you can like spot it.
But you
so
can't
quickly.
make up a cavity though.
Yeah,
so if I see an incipient lesion on an x-ray, so an incipient lesion just means the start of a cavity. If I see that on an x-ray, I start freaking out and start upping the fluoride treatments. Obviously not now because I'm pregnant, but I start upping the fluoride treatments. I start, you know, switching to a prescription strength toothpaste to try and combat those tiny little lesions. Whereas my brother drinks straight Coca-Cola and loves candy and loves sugar and refined sugar. I see him, you know, once every 6 years in my chair, and he has maybe one cavity.
I think it's the makeup of your saliva.
Absolutely. A big part of it is the microbiome in your mouth and what the bacteria in your mouth and how that plays a role. Stress is a huge part of it. Diet and lifestyle.
Oh
yeah. Stress causes crazy
stress
things.
Stress causes so many issues.
So many things.
How do we alleviate that?
That's the hard.
When you find the answer to that.
No, I saw the funniest TikTok the other day, and she's like, "Oh, my therapist told me I need to alleviate my stress," and so like she's like holds the door open and like throws her husband and her kids out the door, and she's like, you know, it's like true.
And it's funny because students in dental school, it actually shows that their incidence of cavities increase upon going into dental school.
Interesting.
And it's not because they are not aware, it's because of the high stress level. So it plays a bigger role than what we understand for sure.
Very interesting.
Wow. Why do some people have more dry mouth? Do you find that?
Yeah. My husband suffers from that a lot. He's also a dentist. Dry mouth, a lot of it can be contributed to if you're a mouth breather at night. So if you have snoring, sinusitis, issues like that, you're sleeping with your mouth opened all night, and that causes severe dry mouth, or the dental term xerostomia. Also, Sjogren's syndrome, that's a disease that causes dry mouth and dry eyes. So there's genetic disorders and autoimmune disorders that cause that. And then also tobacco. That's smoking, anything, even marijuana or anything, you're creating a dry, smoky environment in the mouth, and that can wreak havoc because when you have a dry mouth, the bacteria overcompensate and then tend to try to multiply even more.
Interesting. You know, when you were just before saying about how like your mouth is full of this bacteria, like thinking about all that grosses me out so much. And so when you were first in dental school learning about all of this and how your mouth is filled with all this bacteria and plaque, did you have trouble like kissing people like that? Because you weren't in a relationship when you first started dental school, I don't think.
Right.
So
yeah, not when I first started.
Did you have issues like making out once you'd learned all of this?
It's definitely a mental thing. If you want to gross yourself out, Google black hairy tongue images,
oh,
and that will scare the bejeebus out of you. But yeah, I mean, it was funny, you know, going out with classmates after a night out. We would joke around, like after a drink or two, we'd be like, let's do some oral exams before we actually kiss anybody at the bar. So
that's so funny.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because when I was in dental hygiene school and seeing so many mouths and cleaning so many mouths, I took a very big interest in looking at the guys' mouths and at their smiles. And if they were off or their teeth weren't clean or not clean to my eyesight, I wouldn't kiss them.
Interesting.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to go out with them because I was just I said, I don't hope they don't, you know, they're not cleaning their mouths, they're not having good hygiene in my eyes.
And Dawn, I don't know if you were took this in dental hygiene school, but in dental school we took oral pathology, and seeing the pictures in the textbook for oral pathology, that will scare anyone off of kissing.
That's very true.
Right. You know, when I first started dating Jared, his mom was a dentist and his dad's a dentist, so he's very also into teeth, just like, you know, because of them, I guess. And so when he first started dating, and I first started dating him, one of the like criterias was like I had to see his mom as my dentist.
Wow.
So she like became my dentist, and she transformed my teeth. I feel like she made them so much whiter and cleaner, and I used to not go for cleanings as much, which I should have, being that you were a dental hygienist. I don't know, she didn't have me go all the time, but because of his mom, like he had me always going.
I remember
he
that.
always said that she like transformed my smile.
I remember when you guys would go to South Florida for trips.
Every time I'd go, I'd be in the chair, she'd be drilling away, and she would tell me like, you need to floss more, and she's like, are you flossing?
Know.
I'd be like,
know.
Yeah, it's so funny, you guys like know. Like,
dental hygienists are actually the best too.
That's interesting.
They're the ones that whisper in the doctor's ear, they're not flossing.
Right. Most people don't want to floss.
Yeah.
You know.
Me, I can't stand the thought of things stuck in between my teeth. It drives me crazy. My tongue will play with it. And it drives me nuts. But other people, they just get used to it.
Right.
So you've transformed over to the aesthetic side of things as well, or transferred over, to the aesthetic side of things. So doing like, is there anything for like the mouth, for example, if you want to slim your jaw, what's your thoughts on Botox in the jaw?
I feel personally that Botox for relaxing those masseter muscles in the jaw is way more effective than having a night guard, because a night guard, you help to combat the damage that can be done to the teeth, but you're not actually treating the problem. So once you chew through that night guard, it's time for another one. And it doesn't relax the muscle, so the muscles are still sore when you wake up. So with Botox, like any procedure with Botox, whether you're injecting in the forehead or anything, it relaxes the muscle. So it basically tells the masseter muscles to stop being in hyper overdrive. When that muscle relaxes, it becomes less meaty. So anytime you stop working out a muscle, you lose muscle mass. So then the masseter slims down and you get a more slim effect to the face. So you get that aesthetic benefit, but then the medical benefit is that you stop grinding and clenching your teeth because your muscles aren't in overdrive. So what I would recommend as a dentist is not only getting Botox or Dysport or whatever, neurotoxin, but also to get a night guard as well, because then you're treating the problem, but you're also preventing the damage. So
very
because she has where one muscle is so much bigger than the other. Like she's like, why is
right on one side.
So in Dawn's do one side.
In Dawn's situation, you never want to treat any muscle in the body that's bilateral, so on both sides. You don't want to just treat one, because then the other side's going to overcompensate, and then you're going to have the same problem you had on, what is that, your right? You're going to have that on your left.
Well, then it'll be even.
No, it won't, because it's going to overcompensate. So what you do is you treat both sides, but the one that is the affected side, you treat with a higher dosage. So instead of for example, if your right side's the one that's bothering you, you would do 30 units there and maybe do 20 units in your left. So that's how you get them to balance. But if you treat one, you're jumping from the frying pan into the fire.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Tanya is so smart.
Yes,
you know,
she's always
I remember, we're going to go back to our high school days now, because I remember the way that Tanya and I became close. We were friends first, but we became closer. I feel like we became really close when you were tutoring me.
Junior year of high school.
Yeah. Isn't that so crazy? Well, when we first met, I think we were in ninth grade.
Ninth grade biology.
No, we were in, you always say ninth grade biology. It was in Miss Jackson's
Was
class.
it? It was
English class.
sorry, English.
And you shared your M&M cookie with me.
I always think it's biology.
No, what biology class was it?
I think it was just like regular, like intro to bio.
And you always told me you're going to be a dentist.
Yes,
you always
from a young
wanted to be
age.
a dentist. She would say, "I'm going to be a dentist."
And you did, yeah.
I was like the little elf that wanted to be a dentist.
So cute. Why the little elf?
Well, it was like a Christmas story, and I love Christmas.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you were saying because you were little.
Oh, no.
Sorry, that went above my head. Okay. But that's so funny. Yeah, you always did. You were always so intelligent. She would tutor me. It's so funny. I don't know why.
I remember Mrs. Marquez junior year trigonometry class.
No, I was never in trigonometry.
Pre-calc.
Don't put me on that far. Give me credit, but not that much credit.
We were in pre-calc, and I tutored Cher, and she ended up, when she retook her test, she ended up doing better than I did on the original. So I was a proud mama. I was like, dang, either I'm a really good teacher or Cher just is a really good student.
Well, honestly, you're the one that kept us to study, because she didn't want to study. She wasn't into her schoolwork, and you kept her on her toes.
Because it was fun. I got to come hang out with Tanya. You know, like we'd do our work together.
A lot of Starbucks trips.
Yes, a lot of Starbucks, and we would just do it together. And I got my love for spinach, thanks to Tanya. She got me hooked on spinach. And certain kinds of pasta. I'll always remember. Yeah. But yeah,
you would bring home your dad's potatoes.
Oh, yeah, my dad
was the best, and I would have some.
She would steal all of them. I'd be like, "Where did they go?" She'd be like, "Just ask for more." Because her dad would make the best potatoes. Indian style potatoes.
Yes.
I wish you brought some.
I know. Should have brought snacks for this.
Oh my God, so good. And literally no restaurant ever makes them as good. Yeah, we got to get his recipe. We'll have to have your dad on the podcast.
Yes, exactly.
Talk about Indian
cooking.
Yes. So good. But yeah, and my mom would always, my mom didn't like me staying out at people's houses very much. I remember that. Going over people's houses very much. But she always trusted you because you were very studious and a very sweet, kind girl. Yes. Always trust me. So I would sometimes say I was going to your house. I don't know if you even always knew this, but I would park right near your house, and I would park my car. Sorry, Tanya. I would park my car right down the road from your driveway, because in case my mom ever needed to find, this was before tracking on cell phones.
Right.
So in case my mom ever was curious, which I don't know why you'd be sneaking up on me, Mom, but I feel like that's something you would do.
Yes, I would do.
It's something you would do. So I'd park my car right down the road from you, and then my mom, if she ever would pass by, then my boyfriend at the time would come and pick me up, and we would go to do nothing, just go to Crystal Beach and walk around.
Well, and I don't know if you remember, but there was one time, this was the days of the pink Razor cell phone.
Oh my goodness.
And your mom was catching on to what you were doing, so you called me in a panic, and you're like, Tanya, if my mom calls you, because she just asked me for your number, and I think you've had my number ever since, Dawn, but if she calls you, do not tell her who I'm with. Tell her I'm at your house, and we're in your room studying, and I'm taking a practice test.
Really?
You remember that?
Now, would you do that?
Well, thankfully it never came up.
Oh my God. So she didn't call?
She didn't end up calling.
Oh my God, you would have told totally not been able to lie. I've never seen Tanya lie before.
It's very difficult for me to lie.
I think I would be able to tell if she was lying.
It's very hard for me to lie. I have a very guilty conscience.
So funny. And you said okay.
I said okay. I'll try.
Oh my goodness.
Thankfully, I wasn't put in that position because you got home before curfew. But
that's so funny. You were just very strict, which is weird because you've become like my best friend, but you were very much of a mother. You were very strict.
Well, I had a mother hat at that time. I mean, you have to wear different hats at different stages of life, you know, and I had to be like that.
You were too much. Sorry,
I think you'll be worse with Belle.
I won't be.
You 100%
will
be.
No, I will not. You'll see. You will see. Just wait and see. It's about that time in our podcast where we're going to hit pause because we have something really exciting that we want to share with you.
We wrote a book together.
That's right. It's called A Bond That Lasts Forever. And basically, it's how we got this close and how you can too. It goes over all of our life's ups and downs, our struggles and obstacles, and became as close as we are today.
We share tips and quotes and actionable steps on how you can create your own ideal relationship. We even share photos on us throughout the years so you can see us on a whole different new level.
It's so true. Anyways, we loved writing this book, but we hope that you love reading it just as much, or maybe even a little bit more. Anyways, you can pick up the book at abondthatlastforever.com. You can get it at Walmart, on Amazon, at Barnes & Nobles, or wherever you get your books. Hey, you're stealing my line. Anyways, we hope you love reading it. Now, let's get back to the podcast. Because, you just have to have trust. Tanya was a good kid, and she didn't have curfews like that.
You didn't have big curfews.
But Tanya didn't care to go to the parties.
The thing is, my parents didn't have to enforce a curfew.
No, we did steal some alcohol from your parents' closet.
We did steal some alcohol from my dad's liquor.
What did you do with the alcohol? You just sat there together and drank it?
Yeah, literally. It was a very funny story. It was probably one of the first times I ever tried alcohol. I was couldn't have been more than 16 or 17 years old, and were we in? I think we were in college. We were in college, so I was actually older, and we came back for the weekend. We were studying, but we took a break and we stole some rum from my dad's liquor cabinet, and we drank. And I am not a big drinker, even to this day. When I'm not pregnant, one glass of wine, and that's about it.
Right.
So anyway, I think I had maybe 2 shots of this rum, and I ended up getting pretty drunk, and me and Cher
2 shots. 2 shots. I think it was 4 shots.
Maybe it was 4, but
still 4 shots.
4. And Cher and I were dancing in my bedroom to whatever was playing on the radio, and all of a sudden I fell to my knees and I started throwing up.
Oh no, that's not all that happened. We were dancing. I don't know why. They were so silly. We had probably had a hairbrush in hand. We were full on dancing, singing. This is what we did, and you were concerned what I was doing. Literally, this is what I was doing. We were just dancing in the best time, and Tanya kept saying, "I think I can fly." And she would jump in the air with her legs back, head back. And do you remember that kind of?
Yes, I do remember that.
She thinks she can fly. It was hilarious. She kept doing it. And then one time she goes, "I think I can fly," and falls to the floor.
And just there it came up.
Vomits. Oh, but not only vomits, just it
was a mess. And then Cher hears a knock on my bedroom door. So she's like, "Oh my gosh, I've gotten their daughter drunk. What are her parents going to think or whatever?" And it was my brother. And so my brother and I are very, very close. And he opens the door and was like, "What are you two doing?"
But you at this point, I think she went from totally having the best time dancing so much to thinking she could fly to throwing up and being passed out in a second.
Really?
Yeah, and so poor Cher and Taz, my brother.
I was like, we didn't drink that much, I promise.
Yeah, and she was telling Taz that we really didn't overdo it. Look how much rum we drank, and so poor Cher and Taz were cleaning up the sheets and cleaning up everything. And the next morning, I wake up and roll over to Cher, and did I throw up? Did you? So we combated that by getting Taco Bell quesadillas on the way back to Gainesville.
Typical.
And the blue, whatever that blue Taco Bell drink was.
Oh yeah, the Mountain Baja Blast.
The Baja Blast.
What is
I still get that to this day.
What is that?
Every time I go to Taco Bell, I have to have a Baja Blast. It's a Mountain Dew, but
with like some blue drink.
Or it's green.
It's probably just not good for you. It's probably some food dye.
Honestly, no, Mountain Dew is illegal in other countries.
Oh yeah. So, and you've heard, I'm sure you have, Dawn, heard of Mountain Dew Mouth. Have you heard of that?
No.
Mountain Dew Mouth. A lot of, coincidentally, meth addicts drink a lot of Mountain Dew. And not just meth addicts, a lot of people drink Mountain Dew, and when you don't brush it, it's like pouring almost like straight acid on the teeth. Because it's just pure sugar, and it's like the worst form of sugar. And so it rots the teeth, going back to teeth for a second. But that's how we spent our college days. So, I don't know if that makes you feel worse or better, but
I know, like that's what I'm doing. Wait, so back to like high school days. How would you, like, what was I like for our listeners that didn't know me then? Because it's always interesting. I tell stories about my life, but, like, it's interesting to hear it from an outsider who really saw what I was. Like,
so Cher was always, like, the nice girl in high school, and she was always the popular one. She was a cheerleader, and, like...
I wasn't.
You were.
I don't know why you say that.
You were invited to all the parties and all of that, like, all those, all the kids that sat at, like, the cool table and that sort of thing.
Who's the cool table? We'll talk about that later.
I don't know if I can say all their names on the podcast, but what I loved about Cher was that I was definitely the nerd in high school. I didn't really care too much about my appearance or how I dressed. I would always wear just jeans and a t-shirt or something, hair in a ponytail, and I was so into my studies, and all I was thinking about was getting into a good college. Right. But, like, we came from totally different worlds, and in high school, you truly, the birds of a feather flock together. But in her case, Cher was still friends with me despite our very social differences. And so we bonded over things that were more meaningful than the superficial high school stuff. And so even though we came from two different worlds, we both
have good hearts.
Yeah.
And you're both good people. So that's what the bond was.
Yeah. And, like, even to this day, we're very, very different people, but the things that bond us have been there from the very beginning. So I always felt like you were, the popular cheerleader, but the nice cheerleader. She wasn't the one that was going to talk about you behind your back. She wasn't going to be the backstabber. She wasn't going to, if someone fell down, she would help them up. And that was Cher.
Aww, so sweet. And you were a great influence because you kept her to keep knowing that work is important, schoolwork is important to get into a good college and everything.
I remember when we both found out we got into the same college.
Yes, you were at dinner. I was the one that told you got into Florida.
Wait, how did that come about?
So you guys were all at dinner. So I have a memory that kind of defies logic sometimes.
So wait. Tanya is my memory. Like, literally, I'm a goldfish. I don't remember anything. Tanya remembers everything for me. Things that don't even happen. Like, Tanya's not even there sometimes, and I'll call Tanya to be like, Tanya, can you remind me of what happened this day? Be like, sure. You were doing this.
Yeah, so I have dates, phone numbers, things like that. I remember a lot of stuff.
And she remembers my memories for me.
Yeah. So I remember y'all were at dinner. I don't remember if it was for Grant's birthday or what it was. It was for someone's birthday. You guys were at dinner. And I was texting Cher, and, usually, if I remember correctly, you guys don't like to text while you're out at dinner because you want to spend that time with each other.
Those were the good old days.
At least back then.
That was way. We don't do that anymore.
At least back then, you tried to stay off of your phone as much as you could.
Yeah, Daddy lost that battle.
There was many others too. So Cher was texting me, because we were expecting to hear about early acceptance into Florida, and Cher's both her older brothers had been gone to Florida and everything. It was always our dream to go to college together. Yeah. And so I logged onto the computer and found out that I had gotten in, but Cher was at dinner, and this was before smartphones where you could just pull up Safari and go on your Safari browser. So Cher was texting me under the table at dinner saying, can you, like, here's my login and password and whatever.
Oh, wow.
And so I logged in, and then she snuck away to the bathroom and called me, and she was like, I don't know if I want to know. I don't know. I'm like, you want to know. And she's like, did I get in? And I was like, you got in. And then I remember you ran out of the bathroom and, like, told everyone at the table, and I heard them in the background. And
wow. I'm so glad you remember this for me.
Oh, I remember.
I don't remember this at all. It's so funny because you're supposed, like, everyone remembers, like, their story when they got into college at acceptance. I don't remember.
Yeah, and so I was like, Cher, we're going to college together. And and for a while I didn't have a car, so you would drive us home a lot of the times before I got a car. So
drive us home from where?
From Gainesville back to
right.
But like I said we're going to college together, and we did.
Wow.
And that even
continued.
continued.
Thing is, I vaguely you saying, do you want to know? And I was like, I don't know if I want to know. And I remember you saying, you want to know. And that made me feel like, okay, tell me. That's like that's so much pressure to put on you, though. Like, what if I didn't get in? Like, how would you
I don't think you would have said anything.
I don't think I would have said anything. Maybe I would have made up something like, it keeps saying air. It's not working.
Right.
Oh, and then I would know you're lying.
Yeah, probably.
Like, that's so funny. Oh my gosh, that's such a good story.
But even in college, you know, Cher was the sorority girl, and again, I was kind of more of the reserved, quieter type and stuff like that. But we still made some great memories in college, and you know, we did so many fun things together. Even though we had very different college experiences, we had them together.
We still always studied together, even though we were studying like for different
things. Yep. And then, you know, I still remember some of the funny things about college, getting trapped in your apartment during that fire.
Wait, what is that? Tell me about that.
Yes.
So I was going through a really bad breakup at the time, and I was sleeping at Cher's just to, you know, have that support. And that's a whole nother story. We're there through all that with each other. And someone came banging on the door, and Cher was always one that never answered the door. If someone, I'm sure she was taught that from you, Don't answer the door. And they're banging on the door saying, there's a fire, there's a fire, there's a fire. And we didn't believe them.
We're like, you're trying to like
rob us. And, and so we go out I'm sure you remember what your the condo looked like in Gainesville. We went out the back, and there was this just cloud of smoke everywhere. And so we realized, oh my gosh, we need to get out of this. There really is a fire. And so we bolted down the stairs, and as we're pulling down the stairs, the firemen are walking up the stairs with their hose.
Wow. At first, like, there's a fire. I was like, okay, thank you. We wouldn't open the door. I remember we were like hiding. We were like scared of this guy.
Really scared.
We were like, who is this guy?
And Grant wasn't home.
Yeah. He's like, he's trying to break in. Like, we didn't. We're like, if you say there's a fire, we're like, there's not a fire. And you're trying to break in and rob us. Like, it's so funny. Oh my goodness. And then you were there. She was actually there. You weren't there, but she was there. Well, the first night I went on my first date with Jared.
I was.
And the night I got engaged.
And
you were the first person I saw.
I was wearing the same shirt the night the night of their first date, and the night she got engaged, I was wearing the exact same shirt.
It's so funny. Yep, and I have that shirt now.
Yeah, and I had to give it to her. It's like your lucky shirt. So
that's so funny. Yeah, I brought Jared back and went on my first date with him. And after our first date, we went to this restaurant, and then we came back to. I was like going to stay at Tanya's house.
Approval.
Yeah, I wanted to show like Tanya. And I remember he invited me back to his house that night. He's like, hey, we should come over and watch a movie after. And I was like, oh, no, I have to go to my friend's house or whatever. And so he dropped me off at your house, and you came outside from the dorm, and you met him, and we went back inside. And I remember he always says, like, I'm so glad he didn't come back to my house to watch a movie because, you know, like, he liked the chase that I didn't do that.
Every guy likes the chase.
And also that I had, like, friends I was going to hang out with. Really, we probably just were going to go watch a Disney movie, but you know, it
definitely showed your independence, and
then I got engaged, and we went out to dinner afterwards, and then I had to show my best friend my ring, of course.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Yeah. Did you know that I was getting engaged then, or what?
No,
happened?
I remember because we had a mutual friend, Allie, who was taking your engagement pictures, so I know she had to know first. But she told me
she slipped?
No, she told me after the fact. She said that Cher told me, do not tell Tanya that I'm getting engaged. I need to be the one to tell her.
Yeah.
So she kept her secret and she did not tell me.
Aww.
And so, yeah, I remember Cher came in and told me she was engaged, and I started crying, and we had a little girly hug fest. And, you know, of course, I congratulated Jared, and it was such a beautiful time because you were the first one of my friends to get married. It was my first time being in a wedding and then being the maid of honor, and it was an amazing wedding. It was so much fun. And also, too, I had developed, you know, a friendship with Jared through the years because we had the exact same major. So I had so many classes with Jared.
I know, it's so funny.
And Jared is much, much smarter than me. So he helped me actually with a lot of those courses. He had like a 5.0 GPA in college. He like got A's in every single course in college. And so I actually would study with Jared sometimes, and he would help me with some of the classes and stuff like that. And so I got to know Jared outside of Cher. So it really like let me approve of him in a different way from my best friend, because he wasn't able to put on an act if we were just studying and it was not in front of you. So I really got to know the true Jared.
That's really cool.
That's very interesting. I didn't know that part.
That we have the same bachelor's degree. Yep.
Yes, that's so. It's so nice how you've known each other for so many years and been through so many experiences together. That's like amazing.
Yeah. I mean, 14 years old we met, and we're 32 now.
Yeah,
I mean
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you first met my mom? Well, I'm trying to think when that was.
Trying to think too.
I guess she's kind of always been there.
I feel like it was a package deal. Like I feel like I'm sure the same day that I went home to like meet you, like to your actual house, your mom came out with you.
True, so true. Well, speaking of that, you know, I'm curious. I have my two best friends here. Pretty exciting. So I kind of want to put it to the test and see who really knows me better. Is it my mom or my best friend? So I have a little quiz for you guys.
Oh my God, this is going to be fun.
So I want you to think about it. Let's see if I want you to say it first or how we should go about this. Let's see. Okay, let's do first of all, first person to say it.
Okay.
Ooh, pressure's on.
Pressure's on.
Okay.
She's a little, hopefully you're all thinking. Okay. Who was my biggest crush when we were younger?
Justin Timberlake.
Mommy, you should have known that one.
I did. She has it all on her walls. It takes me a minute to think. That's what happens when you get in your 60s.
Okay. Okay, fine. Think about it for 2 seconds. You want me to say that and then count to 3?
Okay.
Would that help?
I don't know.
Or if we say it at the same time.
Okay, fine. First person to say it. What is the one topping I would always order on my pizza?
Pineapple.
Very good.
I thought it was pineapple, but
okay. Let's see. I wonder if, I don't know if she, okay. What was the name of the boy I dated while I broke my arm?
was it David?
Nope.
Griffin? No, that was that later on. I was in high school.
What is that? Was it the guy's name from Georgia?
Oh, Matt.
It was not Matt.
Oh.
Jack?
Jack. Third time's a charm. Okay. Where did I get proposed to?
Oh, at the
park.
The gardens.
The gardens,
Very good. Botanical Gardens.
Botanical Gardens.
Okay. How old was I when I met Jared?
You were
18.
19.
Oh. Well, you started college.
Because I was, but that was in August. I turned 19 in August. I didn't turn 18. Wait, did I turn 18?
Yeah, you were 18.
Oh, I turned 18.
Oh, yeah,
you were 18.
Yeah,
I
you
was
were young
18.
for you were 18. Yes.
All right, I got that wrong. No, just kidding. Okay, make Cher a milkshake. What ice cream would I put in?
Cookies and cream?
No, mint chip and coffee.
Yep. All right, well, you might be winning. Okay. Let's see, cookies or brownies?
Cookies. Chocolate chip.
There you go. Okay. If I was to have plastic surgery tomorrow, what would I get done?
Nose.
Thanks a lot.
I was going to say boobs.
Boobs. I know what she's thinking. That's you.
How do you really feel, Dawn?
Yeah, tell me how you really feel.
What are you trying to say?
That's true. See what's on my mind.
Okay. All right. let's see. What was my due date for my pregnancy?
July 8th.
You gave the 6th. July 5th.
Correct, July 5th. I actually went into labor on my due date.
Yeah, that's
When
right.
I came the next day.
I thought it was the 8th.
Let's see. This one I don't think Tanya will know, but I'm just going to ask it anyways. What was the first bone I ever broke?
The only one, your arm.
Incorrect answer.
Collarbone.
Incorrect answer. Nope.
Ankle?
Nope.
You broke a bone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in elementary school, see, that was before Tanya's time, I broke my pinky finger from playing kickball.
You didn't break
Yes,
it.
I did. You took me. It was a hairline fracture. And I had to wear it wrapped with a thing between it for like a long time.
Oh.
And you freaked out. You thought I was going to have a deformed finger for the solution.
That's
really
me
did.
freaking out.
No, it was. Okay. Let's see. Name every boyfriend of mine that you remember and who can guess the most wins.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
I don't have that many, so it should be pretty easy.
Matt,
Jack.
Griffin.
Jack, David, obviously Jared,
Jared,
Alex.
Alex.
But you guys are like, you're working together here.
Yeah, yeah.
That was all of them, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was 6, yeah.
Did I say Griffin too? Yeah,
I think that was everyone. And his name wasn't Griffin, though.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's
who's
Griff.
Griffin?
But Griffith.
Griffin.
Oh, well, it's close enough.
Yeah, it was close enough. Okay, name one last one. Two more. What's my Starbucks order?
Oh, well, now that you're vegan, can I say the one that you did in high
Yeah,
school?
what was what I did in high school?
The white chocolate mocha frappuccino.
Oh, it was always so good.
A coconut latte with a pump of hazelnut.
Yeah. Because
Right?
that's your order.
You always say get that.
I know. I always, yeah. But that was my high school one, so I'll give you credit for
And
it.
before high school, we used to go to that Barney's with the vanilla bean
Oh
shake.
my gosh, so good. Do you remember Barney's? That was like
That was way back.
My mom used to pick me up from ballet class, and every day she'd have one.
Oh, yum.
So good.
Yeah, that was the treat.
That was the treat. Okay, last but not least, I have 1 hour to spend $5,000 on clothes. Which site would I go to?
Now or
Now we're
Yeah.
back. BB's back then.
yeah,
totally
I was
back
gonna
then.
say, now
Now
would be
it's-
Revolve.
Revolve,
Revolve.
probably, or like Fashion Nova or something. I don't know. But BB's is a good answer because
Yeah.
that was always my
The
go-to.
best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not anymore though, but used to be. Wow, you both did very good actually. I will have. Oops.
Now I can see why you have two best friends.
Yes.
We fill in the gaps.
Yes, exactly. And she has all my memories for me. So, like, when we both don't remember anything,
We just ask
we
Tanya.
just can ask Tanya. So it's really good. So, anyways, Tanya, thank you so much for coming on. This was
Yeah.
so much fun.
Thank
Always
you so
fun
much
with
for
Tanya.
having me.
Oh, of course. Well, we loved speaking with you. Anyways, thank you all so much for tuning into the Chattermouth podcast. This was fun. We'll see you all next time. Bye.